Now the latest on the fear of water contamination. The radioactive element iodine-131 has been detected in tap water in parts of Ibaraki and Chiba prefectures at levels above the recommended safety limit for infants. It's the second day running that water in the prefectures has been given such high readings. Meanwhile, levels have dropped in Tokyo and Tochigi prefecture. In Ibaraki Prefecture, to the south of Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant, a maximum of 229.6 becquerels per liter of radioactive iodine-131 was found in water samples from a purification plant in Hitachi City. Hitachi and other municipalities, including Hitachi Ota, Kasama, Toride, and Tokai Village, are advising residents not to give tap water to babies less than 1 year old. In Chiba Prefecture, officials have issued similar warnings in Noda, Kashiwa, Nagareyama, Abiko, Yachiyo, and parts of Matsudo and Narashino. Warnings are also in effect throughout Fukushima. Experts are calling for residents to remain calm, saying the levels are likely to fluctuate. Meanwhile, officials in Tokyo and Tochigi prefectures have lifted their warnings against giving tap water to infants, as levels of iodine-131 there have dropped. Countries around the world are moving to restrict imports of Japanese farm and marine products due to radiation concerns stemming from the troubled Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant.
일본의 방사능 오염 지역 식품에 대한 그 안전 대책을 논의하고 오염 지역 식품에 대한 잠정 수입 중단 등 안전 대책을 강화하기로 했음을 말씀드립니다.
The South Korean government said on Friday it is suspending imports of spinach and other vegetables produced in Fukushima, Ibaraki, Tochigi, and Gunma prefectures. China began suspending imports of dairy goods, vegetables, and marine products from the 4 regions plus Chiba prefecture on Thursday. In Singapore, an import ban on vegetables produced in Fukushima, Ibaraki, Tochigi, and Gunma is already in place. Singapore added vegetables and fruit from Chiba and Ehime prefecture to the list on Friday, saying traces of radiation have been detected in produce shipped from those prefectures. Taiwan stopped all food imports, including those of processed foods, from 5 prefectures on Friday. The United States and Hong Kong have also moved to stop imports of farm products grown in some parts of Japan. A growing number of South Korean stores are also suspending sales of Japanese seafood. South Korea has been a major importer of Japanese marine products, including mackerel and cutlass fish, and has been sourcing its entire annual consumption of 15,000 tons of Alaskan pollock from Japan. But the manager of a supermarket in Seoul says his shop decided to remove Japanese fish from its shelves and replace it with frozen fish from Russia and other products.
방사능 피해 때문에 그 고객분들이 예민하게 지금 그렇게 반응을 하고 계십니다.
The European Union is also tightening controls on Japanese food imported by member countries. The EU said it will ban imports of food products from areas that may have been affected by radiation, unless the Japanese government guarantees their safety. The European Commission, the EU's executive branch, made the announcement on Thursday. It says the EU will impose special import conditions on farm and marine products originating from 12 Japanese prefectures. The measure will take effect on Saturday. The Commission says all products from these prefectures will have to be tested before leaving Japan. Government documentation will also be required, confirming that the level of radiation does not exceed that permitted by the EU. The Commission is also asking the Japanese government to ensure all food products from Japan accurately display their place of origin. It says at least 20% of food imports from Japan will be subject to testing for radioactive contamination upon arrival in the EU countries. More than 10,000 people have been confirmed dead from the massive earthquake and tsunami 2 weeks ago. The toll is expected to rise further. The National Police Agency said 10,102 people were confirmed to have died as of Friday. About 17,000 people are still missing. Most of the dead and missing are from the 3 hardest-hit prefectures of Miyagi, Iwate, and Fukushima. With nearly 80% of residents still unaccounted for in some of the coastal municipalities, a much higher death toll is feared. In Fukushima, search operations have been suspended within 20 kilometers of the troubled Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant. The true toll from that area is thought to be significantly higher than the official figures. About 201,000 people are living in evacuation facilities around the country. A prolonged, stressful life away from home is likely to take its toll on the health of the evacuees, especially the elderly. Weather officials are forecasting snow, strong winds, and rough seas in the disaster area tomorrow morning. They're advising caution. A graduation ceremony was held in a city in Ibaraki Prefecture where 5 people were killed by the tsunami. The ceremony took place at an elementary school that has been converted into an evacuation shelter. NHK World's Hiroshi Yokoyama has more.
In Kita Ibaraki City, the massive quake and tsunami left 5 people dead and 212 homes destroyed. Hazuki Ojima is about to attend the graduation ceremony. The tsunami engulfed the first floor of her home. The wave left a mark on the wall. Hazuki's grandparents, who lived in this room, are now taking refuge in an emergency shelter. The shelter is located at the elementary school Hazuki attends. The ceremony has just begun.
Ojima Hazuki.
おめでとう。
Her grandparents looked on. This year, 37 pupils graduated from the school, including one who is taking shelter in Tokyo.
이게 하자. 중학교卒業おめでとう。
よかった。ちゃんとできた。うん、よかったね。きちんと卒業式ができてよかった。助け合って生きていきたい。
The graduates have now taken the first step toward their new lives. Hiroshi Yokoyama, NHK World, Kita Ibaraki.
In the 2 weeks since the quake and tsunamis, the survivors have gone through deep despair and suffering. Many are still struggling to find hope in their future.
It was another cold morning in the devastated areas. People are still struggling to come to terms with the disaster. "33-year-old Eriko Ohara is from Kesenuma, Miyagi Prefecture. She lost her husband Yoshinari, who was a truck driver. Ohara says the earthquake struck at 2:46 in the afternoon. She said her husband soon rang her to say he was okay, and he also told her to flee because a tsunami was likely. Ohara says that was the last time she spoke with him. She says she still can't accept that he's dead, and she doesn't know how she can come to terms with it. Looking through her husband's belongings, Ohara found a ring, which he'd obviously planned to give her as a White Day present. Ohara says she doesn't want the ring, she just wants her husband back. But she says it makes her feel a little happier when she thinks about her husband going to buy the ring. And so she will treasure it. 2 weeks after the disaster, the death toll has now climbed above 10,000 and is likely to rise a lot further. To find out what the survivors are thinking, NHK conducted a survey over the last 3 days. Out of 488 people, 79% said they want to go back to where they used to live and make a fresh start. However, about half of those who want to go back say they cannot. Nearly 60% of those surveyed said they don't want to return to their hometowns or have no choice but to leave their homes. This person says he's lost his home, his job, his money, and that is why he cannot return. Today a briefing session on temporary housing was held at Rikuzen Takata. One of the participants said he wants to make a fresh start in the same place where he used to live. This young man says he wants to build a new house on the same spot where his old house used to stand. He says he has no intention of leaving the city.
Hello there, time now for the weather. Winter storms are moving across Japan at the moment. You can see the rotation here in the clouds. This is a developing system that is spreading snow across much of northern Japan as all the precipitation meets that very cold air here. Now we're looking at about 20 centimeters of snow for mountainous regions, and then even in the lower lying areas, some of which are going to be along the Pacific coast here, we could see about 15 centimeters of snow accumulating. The heaviest snow will be in Iwate Prefecture. Now things should start to settle down by the afternoon on Saturday, and Sunday should be a lot more settled as well. But before that happens, we are dealing with that heavy snow as well as strong winds, which could result in blizzarding conditions. Thunderstorms are possible too, and there also will be some high waves at this Pacific coast. Looking to the wind, Saturday morning sees northerly winds coming down across Iwate Prefecture. As for Fukushima and Miyagi prefectures, it's going to be coming from the northwest. Winds up to about 54 kilometers an hour, so it's pretty strong, and that means that the waves will also be very high at about 4 meters along the coast. That is going to be a little bit of concern in addition to the high tide advisory that we have. This time of year is when the tide is at its peak. That'll last until the end of April, so anywhere you're seeing in the orange from Iwate down to Ibaraki, be on the watch between the hours of 5:30 and 8 o'clock in the morning, and later on in the evening between 9:30 and half past midnight, particularly, especially on Saturday when those winds will be quite high. Let's look now to our Friday temperatures as we head into the overnight. Sub-zero temperatures once again for some places across the north, -1 in Akita and also in Aomori. Morioka just at freezing, 3 in Sendai and 4 in Fukushima, Onohama and down here in Tokyo also. As for the Saturday highs, well, mostly in the single digits here towards the north, about 4 or 5 degrees, so it is going to be very chilly. Here is your two-day outlook for some key cities along the northeastern coast here. Miyako and Sendai looking to have some showers. Fukushima also having some showers, maybe snow showers on your Saturday. But, as I say, by the afternoon, that should start to brighten up a little bit. We'll see some good sunshine along the Pacific edge, and into Sunday we should be staying mostly dry. But having said that, that cold air will be left over. It will be very, very chilly on your Sunday overnight. All right, I'll leave you now with your extended forecast.